Right then, hello there, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. My name is Paul, and I'm making this video to post for my YouTube channel, Mr. Cuddy2977, and for my blog, Knickknacks Old Peculiar. I usually do the daily teaser, which you'll see floating around at least once a day, every day, for the past few years. I also talk about movies occasionally, and I may have a week or two free in the not too distant future to see a couple of them at least. And I also talk about TV shows I'm watching. Just recently, I've been watching the fourth series of Stranger Things, which is rather good, even if some of the episodes are a touch on the long side. I've also been, on Friday nights, been watching the second season of Star Trek Picard. So last night was Friday the 19th, which is when I watched the penultimate episode of this series called Hide and Seek. I thought I should tell you what I thought about it. Episode 9, Hide and Seek, opens with a summary of earlier episodes of this series of Star Trek Picard and then shifts, showing us a cloudy sky over La Serena, where Rios, Dr. Ramirez, and her son Ricardo, Santiago Cabrera, Sol Rodriguez, and Steve Gutierrez have to make an urgent escape before they get caught by the bald queen that's occupying the body of Agnes Girardi, Alison Bell. Back at Chateau Picard, and under that same slightly apocalyptic-looking sky, we see Admiral Picard, Seven, Raffi and Tatlin, Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, and Orla Brady arrive by transporter. Briefly discussing their option, Talis distributes the very few weapons that she has. The group, though, are met by Rios, who has some bad news. There's a lot more Borg around than they thought. Post-titles, we see the team taking cover. As the Admiral himself points out, the Queen wants to pin them down while she hijacks La Serena. The Queen, Annie Wershing, herself, is finding that occupying Dr. Girardi's body is not as easy as she thought. Agnes is getting to know our occupier quite well enough to briefly lock her out of the ship's systems. And briefly enough to make an emergency combat hologram using the image of the now dead Elnor. Back in the chateau itself again, one of the now Borg mercenaries throws a flashbang, a stun grenade, at the Admiral and his friends, which immediately triggers a flashback for the Admiral to a time in his childhood when the Picard family, he, his father Maurice, James Callis, and his mother Yvette, Madeline Wise, are having breakfast when the younger Jean-Luc, Dylan von Hal, asks his mother to play a game with him. His mother suggests a game of hide and seek, knowing full well that her husband Maurice is seriously concerned about her mental state. Back in the now, the team are split up as Tallinn, Orla Brady, beams the injured Rios back to her apartment alongside Teresa and Ricardo, and beams them back in a way that means Rios can't help the Admiral, but can help his possible family. Seven can only see one option for the rest of the team, splitting up even further. That way there's twice as many chances for someone to get back to La Serena and stopping the Queen at source. The only thing in Admiral Picard's way is the Queen's one human collaborator, Dr. Adam Sung. Dr. Sung is determined to stop the Europa mission as he knows it guarantees his place in history. The only way the Doctor has of doing this is killing Picard. Now, what did I make of this episode? Is it, as I've always asked in these reviews, is it good, bad, or indifferent? Exactly how many stars would I give it on my famously 4-starred, it starts at 0, rating system? It has to be said, Hide and Seek is another great little episode. The makers of Star Trek Picard, for my money, are making a wonderful series. I think the overall quality is better than the fourth series of Star Trek Discovery, which I've also seen fairly recently. the writing is wonderful to see, as were the various bits of retconning and fan service they do in the series. There's a reference to the Admiral imagining his mother as an older woman that is a clear reference and a little bit of retconning of an old episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called When No One Has Gone Before. The series also has one hell of a great ensemble cast. They all seem to work well together, and in the various different combinations. Jerry Ryan and Michelle Hurd are great, working well as Seven and Raffi. Patrick Stewart and Orla Brady as respectively either the Admiral and Talon, or the Admiral and Brady's other Romulan character, and I forget her name, but there you go, that's always the way. That's a perils of getting older for you, but they seem to work well together. But for me personally, Callis and Wise as Picard's doomed parents were standouts, as are Cabrera and Rodriguez. But it's the overall style of this episode, a style it shares with the episodes I've seen so far of the series. It's what we have in this penultimate episode is a great little action-adventure thriller, and it's a wonderful thing to watch. With all of that said, does that mean I am not going to watch more TV? Of course it doesn't. I am going to be watching The Piggyback, the last episode of Stranger Things' fourth series, on Tuesday the 23rd of August. I'm posting my reviews of it on the 24th, the Wednesday. And I'm going to be watching Farewell, the last episode of Star Trek Picard's full series, on Friday the 26th of August, and posting my reviews of that on the 27th. Frankly, I would love it if you joined me for either or both. I will see you then, and I'm leaving Hide and Seek with 4 stars. See you next week. Take very good care of yourself. Live long and prosper. Just as a kind of a last-minute confession here, do you remember seeing The Highlander, back in the day, the 1986 Christopher Lambert film? I do, and I was always particularly impressed by Connery's performance as Ramirez, by Lambert's performance as the main character, Connor MacLeod, and by Clancy Brown as the Kurgan, the villain of the piece. Incredibly over the top and very psychotic, narcissistic villain of the piece. The one thing that always gets me is whenever I hear the name Ramirez, I always hear Clancy Brown's Kurgan saying the name. It comes out as Ramirez, like that. And I can never hear or see anybody called Ramirez without thinking of Clancy Brown saying it. Strange, but true.